Hey guys, Matt Couch here. Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at a research article done on Swedish Premier League players. And it goes into how, with game intelligence, their creativity increases. So the higher game intelligence, the higher the creativity. It focuses on higher executive functions as well as design fluency. So executive functions, cognitive processing on the field, and then design fluency is those cognitive processes and their visual spatial relativity and how players analyze space around them and how they're able to be creative and use that space to their advantage. So let's get into it. So before we get into the actual study, I did a blog post for this study that you can read. It's a quick, brief overview. It goes through the terms, the tests that were used, and then kind of gives a little bit of breakdown of my thoughts and a little bit of a summary of what the results were. But as for the article, the resources right here for you to find as well. And this is the actual done in the scientific report. Level of play and coach rated game intelligence are related to performance on design fluency in elite soccer players. A mouthful. So, some important key points with this. It was done on Premier League players and national team players. These players were a part of the Swedish Premier League, though. And then there were 14 countries represented for the national team players who also play in the Swedish Premier League. So it goes through the introduction, some of the executive functions. They break that down into two different types of executive functions: the core executive functions and then the higher order executive functions. And then design fluency. The study focuses mainly on the design fluency and how spatial visual, excuse me, how important that is to soccer. It's a very getting into certain spaces, very important for success, and then how you work to create space, very important in our sport. So it showed with game intelligence increasing that design influency increased. So this was the coach rated game intelligence. One of the tests that they did right here was asking coaches to just rate players on their game intelligence. And with this, it showed that with the coaches rating players at high game intelligence, it showed that their design fluency was high as well. And other tests that they used were a speed and accuracy test, so how quick they were able to make decisions, and then the accuracy of their decision making. A lot of the higher level, high game intelligent players were able to execute plays very quick with very good accuracy. It wasn't always perfect because of the rate and of the exercise, but they were on the higher end. Those with a higher game intelligence, their speed and accuracy were higher as well. They also assessed goals and assists. Again, having the higher design influency, having higher game intelligence, there were more goals, more assists, and the big gap they had saw was that there were more assists. Players being able to create situations that they were able to provide the ball to players to finish goals. And the discussion goes into how the two different groups, the group that plays for the Swedish Premier League, but also plays for a national team, they were the ones who had the greatest game intelligence and design fluency, where for players who were just in the Swedish Premier League, they had lower game intelligence relative to the national team players. So it was their conclusion pretty much was that players who play for a national team have greater game intelligence and design fluency. So with this article, how can we use this article as kind of just youth or adult, just kind of normal players, even at the semi-pro level or college level? How can we use this article? Well, one is game intelligence is very important to soccer. So how can we increase our game intelligence? I write about this in the blog post. I think US Soccer might have gotten this right with their training model of play, practice, play. The more play you're able to be involved in, the more situations you'll be able to see, and then you'll be able to start cataloging this game data and growing your game intelligence mentally. And the more that you can try new things and be creative, you'll be able to, again, increase your game intelligence. So the play, practice, play model of players playing first and then going into a practice where they practice certain skills, and then going into a play where they practice these skills, but also being, as a coach, letting them explore those skills, letting them try new things or adapt that skill that was just taught to make it their own. Soccer is, again, the beautiful game, and it's because of that creativity that we allow players to have that it's such a beautiful game. It's an art, just like any art. It's very creative, and you have to be free to kind of express yourself. So allowing players to do this, I think ultimately will help them grow their game intelligence. Again, we as coaches need to help give them some kind of structure, help encourage them, help them along, and give them freedom at the same time. It's a very sensitive balancing act for coaches, but seeing that players have the ability to make decisions on the field for themselves, and even if they're right or wrong, they're going to learn from them, and helping them learn from them so that they can increase their game intelligence, their design fluency, and get to the higher levels that we want them to reach, and we want our country as a whole to reach and start being able to compete with those upper level national teams. So check out the blog post, comment below, let me know your thoughts on it. Appreciate you checking the video out. Please like, subscribe, and we'll get you another scientific research article out soon. Thank you.